tutti, buonasera a tutti. Buongiorno a chi è in Asia, Australia. Come va? Oh, aiuto, microfono. Ciao a tutti, buongiorno. Buongiorno, buonasera. Ok, che bello, cominciamo? Controllo la chat, perfetto. Allora, vediamo se posso farvi vedere. No, la chat. Si vede? Ok, benissimo. Allora, come sapete, questa è una sessione di Q&A, domanda e risposta, e per questo la facciamo in inglese, perché è per studenti principianti e intermedi. So, it's a Q&A session and we're going to do this in English because that's what we do here. Anything that is difficult, we don't want to risk you not understanding the explanation, so we explain this stuff in English for beginner and intermediate, and then when we do Q&A for advanced students, then the explanation also is in Italian. If you're here for an Italian lesson where you hear me speak Italian, that's not it. We did one yesterday, I think, and there's lots coming, you know, at any time and then very soon, but not this one, okay? So do not get upset if Manu is speaking in English. I'm teaching. I'm teaching and the topic is beginner intermediate. Ok, benissimo, allora vediamo un po'. Che bello vedere tutta questa gente, like there's so many of you from all sorts of countries. So yes, apologies if the explanation is in English, but since it's a beginner topic, your Italian will not be good enough to understand my complicated explanation of whatever you ask. And I apologize if English is also not your native language, because you may have a hard time with that too, so I don't know. I don't know what to do. One day I will do things like in Portuguese and Spanish, if I get the time to organize and see what group I can get together for Spanish and Portuguese lessons. I mean, of Italian. Anyway, let's start. Okay, so as usual, I will have a little bit of a hard time seeing your questions because there's so many. So what I suggest you do, ciao a tutti, buongiorno, is if I'm entering a question, I suggest that you do not type more questions because I won't see them. Because when I look at the camera, I can't look at the chat. Okay, so what is your first question? Ciao a tutti, India, Grecia, Canada, Tunisia. Tunisia, come si chiama? Riahi? Mio cognato è della Tunisia. Mio cognato, my brother-in-law, is from Tunisia. Ciao a tutti. Sì, sono tornato a casa, sono nello studio. I'm back in the studio. Uruguay, che figo. Ok, domanda, facciamo una domanda a Manu. Let's see if he can answer. So, beginner, intermediate. So, beginner means anything, you know, like, you know, present tense, anything grammar like that. Passato prossimo is intermediate, you know, imperfetto, you can cover all those things. Nothing more complicated that it's like very specific to you, because we're trying to help as many people as possible. Matt, sei mai andato a New York? Sì, allora, Matt, just a little, io amo New York. A me non piacciono le città, io non sono una persona che ama le città, ma New York, bellissimo, mi sento benissimo, mi trovo benissimo a New York. È un po' tardi a Firenze, eh? George, don't worry, everything is recorded, okay? So you will be able to watch it again. Okay, Chris, prima domanda, that's the first one I've seen. Explain the term qua. I hear it in many contexts. Okay, this one is actually easy. Qua, spelled Q-U-A, qua, simply means here. The alternative is qui, Q-U-I, it's the same meaning, qui or qua. So you will hear it in context like, vieni qua, come here. Or, che cosa fai qua? What are you doing here? So it's actually, it's just a word. So I don't think there's many scenarios where it would mean anything else. So that's a safe one, right? Perfetto. Niente, grazie a te, Chris. Christine da San Diego. Oh, San Diego è un'altra città che adoro. Adoro San Diego. Firenze, adoro Firenze. Oddio, che bello. Gambia. Vivi in Italia. Ciao, Super Mike. Ciao Mike dal Gambia. Purtroppo questa lezione è in inglese, okay? We're just trying to explain grammar. Okay, any other questions? Sid, what's the difference between questo, questa, and when to use it? Perfect. That's a good question. So, as you know, Italian nouns have gender. So, any noun, anything that you talk about is either masculine or feminine. Randomly, there's no reason. So, for example, this, my telephone, is masculine. This, the cup of my coffee, is feminine. Tazza. It's just random. What happens is this. Whenever you talk about any noun in your sentence, anything you say about that noun has to match the same gender and also the same number, meaning singular or plural. So, at a basic level, let's say that this cup was white. Now, the word for white is bianco. But bianco means white, but only in the masculine. So, if I wanted to say una tazza bianca, like a white cup, which I know it's not white. I'm just speaking white because it's easier. Una tazza bianca, then I would have to say una tazza bianca, because bianca, the word for white, has to match the gender of the cup, which is feminine. Questo and questa work the same way because they are adjectives, but they go before the noun because we say this cup. So I will have to say questa tazza because tazza is feminine, but I will have to say questo telefono because telefono is masculine. So that's basically, that's the idea. Does that make sense? Keith, dal vivo e in diretta? Sì, stessa cosa, dal vivo, in diretta, live. Yeah. Rachel, what's the difference between say and stai? That's a tough one, but I will cover it. So stop the questions because I'm answering one. Otherwise, I won't say yours, okay? Say is the verb essere, which is the verb to be. And stai is the verb stare, which means it's the verb to stay. So in theory, you think that they're very different, but in Italian, not as much as in Spanish and Portuguese, but essere and stare, so to be and to stay, often have the same meaning. It's very hard to explain the nuances. Actually, I have a video from my Ask Manu Italiano series. I don't know what episode, but if you look up Ask Manu Italiano, essere and stare, you will find a long answer to this. But basically, you're going to use stai anytime you mean stay or remain. For example, stay as in, for example, to lodge, as in where are you staying in Rome, okay? Or, yeah, that kind of stay, okay? We are staying at a hotel, stiamo in un albergo. And you would say say whenever you mean to be. So, sei italiano, sei stanco, are you tired? So, that's the basic idea. But there are many times when in Italian we will use stare instead of essere. So you think we should say stare, but we actually say, so you think we should say essere, but we say stare. A typical example is come stai. In English we say how are you. In Italian it's how you're staying. Okay, it doesn't make sense, but take it this way. We will use stare in Italian many times, especially in the dialects, when it's a temporary being. So, for example, yeah, like when I say how you going, I mean right now. Like, so I'm not saying how. I'm not saying it's different between sei italiano. Now, sei italiano means that you always are Italian. Like that's not gonna change. Whereas come stai, that will change depending on when I ask you. So it is a very, very tricky topic. But look up that episode from Ask Manu Italiano. That should really. Now, Nick, can you go over that and that's? For example, what is that? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, okay. But certamente. Now, Nick, I'm going to hit you with some very bad news. No, not bad news, but Italian and English are very similar languages in many ways. And so you will find that the more you are analytical of English, the more you will be able to speak Italian well. So, let's look at the English. So, what's that? Sorry, I have to go back and find what you actually asked. What's that? And that's awesome. Okay. So, when you say what is that, you're using that as a pronoun, meaning what is that thing over there? So, you're using a pronoun that means that over there. when you say that's awesome, that is a subject. You see, that thing is awesome. There's a big difference between a subject pronoun and an object pronoun. So that's the same in Italian, okay? So I'm not saying that it's going to be different in the way we use it, but if I want to say what's that, I would say cos'è quello? Cos'è meaning what is, and then quello, which means that thing over there. Cos'è quello? Then I'm using the pronoun that means that one over there. So that's cos'è quello. Now, if oh, there's 75 people, 75 studenti. Ciao ragazzi. I got distracted. So if you're joining now, we're explaining the difference between something like what's that and that's awesome. So how do we use different that? If I say what's that is cos'è quello, or if you know that the gender of that thing is feminine, you will say cos'è quella. Cos'è quella. When you say that's awesome, it's a little different because in English you must have a subject for your verb. In Italian, so when you say that's awesome, yeah, that's awesome, you need to have a subject in English. That is awesome. In Italian, the problem is that we don't need the subject. So in most cases, I would say è fantastico. I wouldn't need to say the word that is fantastico. Okay? So I would just say è fantastico. So you're not going to find an equivalent of that's awesome because we're not going to need the subject in Italian. If we wanted to specify the subject, we would probably say what. So, you know, questo telefono è fantastico. Then I would say this telephone. So you will not find that there's like a lot of difference there. Okay. Christy from USC. Ciao Christy. Un bacione, una mia studentessa dell'università. One of my students from the university before I quit. Ciao Christy. Passato remoto is a little bit, it's very advanced, so I'm not going to touch on that for today. Okay. Artemis, I have a question. Can I use stare for the past in the same case that I use essere? For example, I hear Italians say stato lì ieri, but can I say ero lì ieri? Oh, so we're talking about the difference between the passato prossimo and the imperfetto. So these are two past tenses in Italian. I saw a couple of other questions about this. So now, of course, this is a huge topic, and I do have an Ask Manu Italiano on that. So Ask Manu Italiano, passato prossimo, imperfetto, look it up. If I have to give you like a short answer, the difference between the passato prossimo, if you know what that is, and the imperfetto, if you know what that is that the imperfetto is used to describe something in the past, as in a quality of something or of an event in the past. The passato prossimo is used to describe an event, as in something that took place. You might say, but that's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. Let's say that this cup is white, or brown, okay. Now, the fact that the cup is brown is a description of the cup. So if I have to say that yesterday's cup was brown, I would be still describing the cup. So I would be using the imperfetto. La tazza ieri era marrone. So the cup yesterday was brown, because I'm describing the cup. But if I drop the cup, now the fact that I dropped the cup, it's an event, it's something that took place. So yesterday I dropped, let's go broke, it's easier. Yesterday I broke the cup. The fact that I broke the cup is something that actually happened, it took place. So ieri ho rotto la tazza, so I'm using the passato prossimo. So that's the main difference. I know it's a lot more complicated than this. So if you are asking, can I say ieri è stato bello and ieri era bello? What's the difference? So let me see if I can do this. Hold on. So ieri, sorry, I can't do the capital E with an accent. Ieri è stato bello e ieri era bello. So what's the difference? They're both possible. You will find that in most cases, passato prossimo and imperfetto can be used. It changes the meaning. If I say ieri è stato bello, I'm describing yesterday as an event. So I'm telling you that the event of yesterday was good, meaning that thing, the event was a good experience. I'm saying the concert was awesome, okay? I'm trying to say that yesterday as an event started and ended in a great way. So that would be the equivalent of ieri ho rotto la tazza. Yesterday I broke the cup. When I say yesterday I broke the cup, I'm telling you that I started an action which was to break the cup, and then I finished the action of breaking the cup. So if I say ieri è stato bello, I'm telling you that, like, you know, the point of my story is that yesterday started and ended awesome. If I say ieri era bello, I'm describing yesterday. What's the difference? Well, ieri era bello until you gave me the news. Okay, so I'm describing how yesterday was, but that is not the point of my story. It's like setting the scene for something that actually happened, which is not the fact that yesterday was beautiful. Okay? So that's like as deep as I can go in a Q&A. All right. Christine, you're also at USC? You're from Los Angeles? That's fantastic. I mean, I'm getting a lot of local students from where I am now. Ciao a tutti. Ciao, Christine. Oh, Christine. I'll come and see you guys on Thursday. Let everybody know. Okay. Okay, Jacqueline, which one would you say if yesterday I was sad? Perfect. Well, here you're going to hate my answer. Ieri ero triste o ieri sono stata triste, because you're a woman. They're both possible. It all depends on the message that you're trying to describe. So, if you are trying to tell me that yesterday, I have a good way of making you understand this. It's so difficult because it doesn't work in English. But if I say the second one, which is the past tense, if I say ieri sono stata triste, you're saying that yesterday you woke up, you had breakfast, you bought a shirt, you studied, and you were sad. So basically, it's one of the things that you started and ended. Like it's an episode in your day. So it's possible. Ieri sono stata triste for 5 minutes. Yesterday I was sad for 5 minutes. That's like, okay, if you add something like for 5 minutes or for 2 hours or for most of the day, you are really creating an event in yesterday. So it's like it started and it ended. That's the idea of the passato prossimo. So if you say ieri sono stata triste, you're telling me that there was an event started and ended yesterday of you being sad. Possible. If you say ieri ero triste, you're describing yourself yesterday. So ieri ero triste, but guess what? The listener will say and? So yesterday you were being sad, and what happened? Okay, the imperfecto, think about it this way. I've lost the chat. I don't know where my chat went. Okay. If you say yesterday ieri ero triste, your listener will say, yeah, okay, you were sad, and what, and then what? Or what caused it? Think of this, the name of this tense is imperfetto. That's an imperfect tense. It doesn't tell the full story. It's imperfect. That's how I look at it. Oh, Joe, tu sei a San Diego. Oh, se vengo a San Diego ti vengo a salutare sicuramente. I love San Diego. In Italy it's 1:24 a.m., l'1:24. Mannaggia, tardi, buonanotte. Allora, vediamo ancora. Ian, not sure how to use prepositions. Ha! I'm not either. No, I'm kidding. Let me just come back to the chat so that everybody can see what's happening. So, prepositions are a little bit of a monster because, well, there's quite a few. So I'm just fixing my screen. I usually use a ultra-wide monitor, and I can place 25 windows, but that broke, so I'm using a mini monitor. It's so difficult. So, what was I talking about? Sorry. Prepositions. Okay. As a beginner or intermediate student, you want to get the core prepositions right. So you have to go with, if I need to specify possession or what something is made of, I will have to use di. For example, il libro di Manu, Manu's book. o la tazza di ceramica, the ceramic cup, because the cup is made of ceramics. So that's an example. If I'm trying to say that something happens for something, I'm going to use per. Ok, quindi per esempio un regalo per Manu, a present for Manu. So you have to go back to the core meaning of the preposition and go with that. The more tricky ones are a, in, and da when you use them with verbs of movement. So you would have to be good at understanding that in Italian, when you use andare, for example, in English you just go to somebody or to a place. In Italian it changes andare a with a city, a verb. For example, andare a Roma, andare a mangiare. Okay, we use andare in for countries, andare in Italia, andare or in vacanza, some expressions. And then we have da when you move towards a person. Andare da Marco, going to Marcos. So that's the tricky one. But I would say, as a beginner intermediate, you really want to worry about the core meaning of the prepositions and just go with that. You'll be right most of the time. The other thing that, the problem that you have is what preposition works with what verb. And that is just, I actually talked about this in the previous Q&A from last week. And so go watch it. But basically, if you're asking me, how do I know that it's finisco di mangiare, like I finish eating? How do I know that it's di and not something else? You don't. You just have to know that the verb finire uses di as the preposition. It's just like in English, to listen to depend on, to rely on. Those prepositions are just random because the verb wants them. So I can't help you with those unless you bring me a verb and I tell you what preposition it uses. Now, I saw something about riuscire, potere, and farcela. This is a little bit advanced, but I'll touch on it. So, now, it helps if I show you what I'm typing, right? Okay, so potere is the Italian verb for can that expresses possibility. Okay. Riuscire is a verb that means to manage or to succeed in something, and farcela is pretty much the same, but it's a very difficult verb to conjugate, so I'm not going to actually discuss it. But what I want to talk to you is about the difference between potere and riuscire. You will find that English is obsessed with can. Okay, like you will use can in any context, basically. Like, you know, in Italy, you can find good food. In Italian, we are not going to express that idea of can anyway. We will just use the verb to find. In Italia, trovi cibo fantastico. We're not going to say you can find. It's just you find it. So my first tip is, unless you're asking for permission, like posso entrare, may I come in? Anything that has to do with permission or possibility, in most cases, you're going to ditch the verb potere. Just don't use it. I'm going to introduce another verb in the mix, which is sapere. You may know sapere as meaning to know, but the truth is that sapere has a second and as widely used meaning of being able to. So anytime you're thinking of a skill, like I can sing, in English you use can, in Italian you're going to use sapere and not potere. So, so cantare. That means I can sing, meaning I know how to sing. So don't say posso cantare, because posso cantare means I'm allowed to sing. I have the permission to sing, so that's not what you mean. Riuscire is it's a next level up of, again, another rendition of can in English. For example, let's say I'm trying to open this case and it's stuck, right? And in English you would say, oh, I can't open it. I cannot open this. In Italian, you're not going to say non posso aprirla, because non posso means I don't have the permission to do it, which is possible in different contexts, if your mom told you so. But in Italian, I'm not going to use potere, because it's not permission. I'm not going to use sapere, because I know how to open this, it's just not opening. I'm going to use riuscire, which is like saying, I'm not managing to open this. I'm having a hard time opening this. Now, riuscire is an irregular verb, so you'd have to look up how it's conjugated, okay? Non riesco ad aprirlo. It's like, non riesco, as hard as I try, I am not managing. And it's used for things even like, can you come to the party? Oh, I don't know if I can. We're going to use riuscire. Like, I don't know if I managed to come. Yeah, that's the meaning. Farcela is very similar to riuscire, but it's even more complicated to use, so I'm not going to touch on that. Perfetto, niente, grazie a te Matt dall'Australia. Dove in Australia? Dove sei Matt in Australia? Riuscire is like achieve, yes, yeah. In the context of doing stuff, okay, not getting an award, okay. Artemis, sorry for how I pronounce names. Okay, sorry. What is my advice to go from intermediate to advanced? I have a very different definition of what intermediate is, and actually if you are in one of my courses like the From Zero to Italian program that I'm going to reopen very soon, you will find that for beginner we have 2 courses, Italian A and B, Italian A1 and A2 like standard. But for intermediate we have 4 courses, and that is because I find that what standard courses would call intermediate don't prepare you to be an advanced student. So many of you, and I'm sorry, like when you come into Manu's world or Italy Medici world of learning Italian, you will be downgraded to intermediate even if you think you're an advanced student. And because my definition of an advanced student is a student who's able to speak in any context and is able to understand anything because they have enough skills to get by even when they don't know something or like an expression. So the main difference for me between an upper intermediate who knows basically everything, you know, all the tenses, you know, you can understand like spoken Italian, you can express yourself, people understand you. That is like, for me, you have like an upper intermediate. The difference between that and an advanced student in my universe is that you can actually express yourself more like a native. So you will say things like Italians say them. So what do you mean? Like, okay, as an intermediate student, you might say something that it's a little bit awkward, but it's totally fine because people understand you. Communication happens. You become advanced when you are a bit more conversational. You say things the way Italians say them. You know, a little bit of slang. You know, that's what makes you advanced. And then, you know, you can say more complicated things without getting stuck. But so how do you make the transition? Expose yourself to as much Italian as possible and talk to Italians as much as possible, because you will realize that what you're saying, they understand it, but that's not how they say it. And then you just fix it. Okay. Perfetto. It's time to say goodbye. È ora di salutarci. We've spent a good half an hour together fixing a few things. Vitor, grazie a te. Grazie a te. Vengo adesso da Sydney e ho conosciuto 3 brasiliani a Sydney. Just met 3 Brazilians in Sydney. Okay, yeah, I think I'll say goodbye because I want to keep these 2 under half an hour. Now, couple of important things, and then I can repeat this in Italian just to give you a little bit of Italian. But like I said, yesterday we had a really cool live show in Italian, so go and watch that if you want to hear me speak Italian and, you know, have fun. We talked about vocabulary. Anyway, if you want to get notifications from YouTube or from me telling you that I'm going to go live, yesterday I tried something, which was I uploaded a video saying I'm going to be live in half an hour, because I know that YouTube will send you a notification and then you know that I'm starting in half an hour. I'm not going to do that because I think it's just annoying to send all my 40,000 subscribers an email with a video that doesn't do anything. So like, I'm going to go live. So I'm not going to do that. So the best way to do this is go to italymedici.com/live and you can enter your email and I will email you 1 or 2 hours before I go live. That way you can organize, you know, like arrange your life around it if you want to be part of the live show. Also, another thing that is happening next Sunday, or Monday if you're in Asia, we're not going to do a Q&A, we're going to do a game show. These are fun. We're going to do an interactive challenge where I will ask, it's like a quiz. So it's like a game show, like a TV show. It's super interactive. You will need two devices, like your computer and your mobile, or two mobile phones, a tablet and a phone, because basically you will be able to see the questions on your phone in real time, and you will have 20 seconds to check the right answer. It's going to be a beginner level for the first one, and everybody's welcome to come and play, and anybody who's participating will have the chance to win 1 year subscription into the Italy Medici Academy that is coming very, very soon. I see a lot of questions about joining the program. We're still not open yet, but if you go to italymedici.com, you can drop your email and I will pre-invite you before the official launch. Then you can get into the academy and interact with the Italians in the academy and myself, watch videos, take quizzes, everything that we have in the academy that it's top secret for now. I see Joe is really helping out. Grazie, Joe, with your help. Okay, that's it. This must have been the first live stream where my Australian internet didn't cause me a headache. So it worked. Grazie mille ragazzi, signore e signori. È sempre bello stare con voi, fare queste cose, come si dice? Queste sessioni di Q&A, io mi diverto. Quindi la settimana prossima, domenica, facciamo il primo game show e se voi partecipate potete vincere 1 anno di abbonamento. Abbonamento is like subscription. Ok, vi do un bacione e ci vediamo presto. Ciao ciao.